Quick disclaimer before we start today's video, this is not official, this is just a hard thought draft for the AFL community, and I would like to say this should be used when the game actually comes around, but with all that out of the way now, let's get into the draft for the AFL YouTubers footy match. Like, subscribe, here we go. G'day guys and welcome back to another video for the channel on Football Science. In today's video we will be going through the draft and ideas for the AFL YouTubers footy match. Now, there is no official date for this match just yet, but it is meant to be coming around within the next year. Maybe this year if there is time, but I don't see it happening this year. But this is the ideas and the draft for the AFL YouTubers footy match. So without further ado, let's get into it. Number 1, where would the game be held? There are lots of things to consider which venue would be perfect to hold this game. Thinking about a reasonable capacity ground, good playing surface I think should be a good thing as well. And also a ground where you don't have to travel too far. Back in the early days of this proposal, the proposed ground to actually hold this game was indeed the old VFL AFL venue in Victoria Park, Collingwood's training venue. Well, old training venue and old playing arena. The ground used to hold a capacity of about 15,000 people back in about 2010-ish. But now because of recent redevelopments, probably down to about 10. Until the AFL YouTubers footy match was mentioned again, the proposed ground was Olympic Park, which has also held a lot of AFL YouTuber events like the goal kicking challenge, this famous win by Cardman22 or Kate McDonald's video. But other than that, more venues have also recently been mentioned for this as well. And the 5 grounds are actually meant to hold this AFL YouTubers footy match were indeed Victoria Park, Brunswick Street Oval, which is kind of a bit of a smoky actually, Gosh's Paddock, Olympic Park, and finally we have Glenfrey Oval. So yeah, no other ground has been really mentioned to hold this game other than those 5, and you know, I think they're actually pretty reasonable grounds to have this game played at. Personally, I think out of the 5, the option you'd have to go with to hold this game is probably the home of AFL YouTube for the AFL venues, to be fair. And that is indeed Olympic Park, Collingwood's training venue. The ground holds about 3,000 people with a couple of seats. I wouldn't say, well, not really seats, it's more of just a little grass hill area where you can sit to watch a game. And unlike Gosh's, which would probably be the second option for this game, it actually has a sign, it has a scoreboard, it's pretty much got everything you need to hold an AFL game. Yeah, it's got a lot of AFL features, this ground as well. It's a pretty small sized oval as well, and I reckon perfect to hold this game. And obviously being a 3,000 capacity stadium, it's not going to bring in too much of a big crowd, and honestly we're not going to expect a big crowd for an AFL YouTuber event. We might, who knows, but for now it's not looking really likely that we are. So yes, the official ground holding the AFL YouTubers footy match is Olympic Park. But if not, I think the backup ground would have to be Gosh's. But I don't see it being there due to not having a scoreboard, sirens and stuff like that. Number 2, team captains. I'm going to keep this one short and simple. I think captains will kind of come down to 1, whoever hosts it, 2, who's fully committed to the idea and wants to play, 3, I guess also who's made a name for themselves in the community, and honestly, that's about it. So yeah, not really too much of a set captain for this game, and yeah, but I think the hot runners for captain would have to be Ryder Henshy. I think Ryder's actually going to be one of the really main ones that could be a captain for this game. I reckon Blaze17 is another one. Cardman22, obviously, he's currently 0-2 for his captain records in YouTuber games. And you know, a couple more across AFL YouTubers that could also be captain for this game. Number 3, quarter length. I don't think the quarters will go for that long because, you know, everyone's at different ages for this game and stuff. So I'm just going to say quickly straight up, 15-minute quarters, no time on. Potentially something where there could be time on for 15 minutes, but I don't really see it being that long, and I think 15 minutes with no time on is, you know, a reasonable time for every quarter, every 4 quarters. And for those that don't know, no time on means like the clock just keeps running until it hits 15 minutes, and time on means the clock stops whenever there's a goal scored or a score at all, a stoppage, a ball up, throw in, you name it, just, yeah. Number 4, age. I think the thing that's probably going to suck about this footy game most is you probably have to be a certain age to play. It would be for the fact that when you're older, you're more competitive, you're bigger, you're stronger, and probably could crack a young one's head open. I'm kidding. But seriously, I do think there should be an age limit for this, just to avoid any injuries of, like, you know, if you had like a 12-year-old playing and then they get tackled by like a 30-year-old, it would not end well, I don't reckon. So I'm going to kind of set an age limit for this game. Well, obviously, as I said, this is unofficial, obviously just a draft. But I think the age you'd probably have to be required is you'd probably be looking at 13 to 15 years old. And probably at an oldest, I'd probably say 25 or so years old. So probably in the age limits, I'd probably have to go within 13 to 25 years old to have to play. If you're above that, we might be able to, reach around something. And if you're younger than that, well, if you're fully committed to play, we might take you in.
I just want to make it clear again, no, I'm not holding this game. I'm just putting drafting ideas out because I'm sounding like I'm the boss of this entire thing, but no, I'm not. But anyway, let's just go back to the video. I just want to make it clear again. All right, let's go.
But genuinely, is there anyone in this community that's 25 or plus years old? Anyway, I think the required age and age maximum is 13 to 25 years old. Number 5, in-game rules. Pretty forward AFL rules. I think the 666 rule should still stand. The stand on the mark rule, I think we've all got used to that by now. Not 15 kicks, throw-ins, stuff like that, stoppages, throw-ups, pushing the backs, you name it. It's pretty much just all AFL rules that we have now. However, for the fun of it, I kind of feel like we should scrap the umpire dissent rule. It'd be a little bit funny and, entertain the viewers when this gets uploaded to YouTube. But yeah, just an idea. So, rules for this, AFL rules should still stand, but let's just scrap the umpire dissent because it's funny. Number 6, community rules for this game. Now, what is community rules, you may ask? Well, pretty much it's just like, stuff like gatekeeping. I doubt that'd probably be necessary. Timekeeping, scorer, goal umpires, you name it. And we would probably need your help when it comes around to this. So, when the actually time comes around that this game is held, put your hand up if you want to do something, like timekeeping. I'll be playing. Yeah, pretty much that's it with the community roles. I kind of just think, get the community involved. You might get paid for this if you actually did timekeeping, scorer, goal keeping, goal umpiring, I should say. Yeah, there's a lot of things you could do for this game. So those things I just said is the things that definitely should be in the game. Well, yeah, just a proposal. But here's a couple of things that I'm going to put for number 7. And this is what I call other. My first thing is, I kind of feel like when you're manned up with someone or whoever your opposition player is, you probably should be about their age. And I just kind of feel like it'd be, again, to avoid injuries and to avoid any other certain things that may happen. But mainly just to avoid injuries and be a little bit more fair, I reckon. 2, and this one is going to be very much of a tough ask. 4 teams. How is that going to work, you may ask? Well, not really 4 teams, but I guess kind of it stays with 2 teams, but there's 4 teams in total. And how that's going to work is it's going to depend on your age. Let's go, for example, you're in the ages of 12 to 17. You could create a league with that one, and whoever wins that will be awarded a premiership cup and, maybe medals. We're not going to be that rich, I don't reckon. And if you're 18 plus, then you've got your own game. So 2 teams from 12 to 17 year olds, that could work. And then maybe 18 plus and beyond that, that could make another game. Because at the same time, the ones that are like too young, they're not going to be able to play. And so I kind of feel like maybe it would be good to have 2 different league sort of things. So yeah, as I said, 12 to 17 year olds play their own game with 2 teams, and then 18 plus play with 2 teams, and yeah, winner takes all. Pretty much that's it.
Yeah, clearly I wasn't thinking at the time, because there's no way we're going to get 4 teams in. I reckon just scrap that entire idea I just said. Let's just go the 2 teams.
And guys, that does in fact bring us to the end of today's video for Draft 1 of the AFL YouTubers Footy match. I can't wait for this game when it officially becomes a reality. We don't know exactly when it's going to happen. It may come out this year, it may not come out this year. It's probably going to be within the next couple of years though. But I'll tell you what, I'll be the biggest ambassador for this if it does happen. If you did enjoy today's video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel, uploading more content in the future. Stay tuned for all that, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. See yous.